Yeah.
So, Brian, we were having a discussion earlier about how Emma Watson is pro-trans. And, of course, we all know that J.K. Rowling is not because she's a psychopath. And we were discussing how it's ridiculous that people have such a problem with trans people just living their life.
Yep.
So, literally, I dare them to tell me what reason they have that a trans person just living their life affects their life in any way whatsoever. And don't come at me and say, oh, they go into the bathrooms. Trans people are not after your kids. They don't care about your damn kids. They literally just want to live their freaking lives. And that has no effect on anybody else's life whatsoever. So what say you, Brian?
What I say is, this is the same thing I said earlier, and I'll say it again. This is the way they are. It's not like they're choosing, oh, I'm going to be this way. No, this is what they believe. This is what they are. They can't change it. Do you think they'd want to live with all the ridicule and crap that they put up with if they didn't have to? No, they literally feel like something is wrong and they need to fix the problem. And I support them 100%. Everybody on this planet has a right to live how they feel is best for them, as long as it's not harming anyone. And they're not harming anyone. They're living their life. They're trying to exist in a society and a culture that shuns them. You can't even imagine how hard that is. They can't change what they are or who they are any more than a black person can change the fact that they're black. It is just what they are. They don't feel right, and if they don't feel right, they have every right to change that. If they didn't have the right, we wouldn't have the surgeries. We wouldn't have the medicine. But we do. Why? Because it's an issue. And these people have the right to take these medicines and to do these surgeries so they can feel like themselves. We all have the right to feel like themselves. Whether you're gay, lesbian, non-binary, transgender, CIS, we all have the right to exist happily and pursue a life.
Well, here's my thing. People saying that. People are like, oh, well, why don't they just stay the way they are? Well, why don't scrawny people stay scrawny? Why do they got to build muscle? Well, that should be against the rules then, too, if trans people can't change their gender. Or if fat people want to be skinny. Yeah, I used the fat word. Yeah, I did. You know, if they want to be skinny, well, why? That's not the way they were made. And I dare you. I want you to show me in the Bible, because I've read it from cover to cover, where it says that there's a problem with trans people, or that, you know, trans people are some kind of problem and against God. Also, I would like to point out, I am not a Christian. We'll just go with that, obviously. But, okay, so Christians say that their God is perfect. Okay, that's your belief. And God made man and woman in his image. Therefore, you believe that they're perfect the way they were born. So, he also made trans people, if you believe in that particular myth. I don't particularly believe in your great sky daddy, but that's okay. So you should believe that trans people are also perfect and should have as many rights as everyone else does, because they were made by your God, if that's what you believe.
I agree. I'm so tired of people taking what they want out of the Bible and misconstruing it and twisting it and just basically mutating it to believe what they want to believe. Perfect example is Leviticus. That whole chapter is what they're using. Everything comes pretty much from Leviticus. And they're twisting it to fit their needs, what they want, how they want to do it. And it's wrong. And it's time, honestly, for people to realize the Bible was written thousands of years ago by a bunch of different people, and beliefs are different now.
And voted on by a council on what they were going to include and exclude.
Yes.
Voted on by a council, by people that said, oh, it was word of mouth. Yeah, no, I'm not going to take that as fact. I hate to tell you that.
No, I agree 100%. It's really time for just people to understand that, yes, it's a book of
fables.
Of fables, and a good way to live your life if that's the way you choose to live it. And again, you 100% have the right to live your life that way. You do not have the right to force other people to live your life. Like the whole thing, like, I love ice cream, but this person doesn't love ice cream. So they're going to try to tell me that I can't have ice cream because they don't like ice cream. That's ridiculous. Sit over there and eat your salad and be sad and not eat ice cream.
Because it's Satan's ice cream.
But me, on the other hand, I'm going to be sitting there with a pint of ice cream and devouring it. So, it's literally the same thing. Stop pushing it on other people. And stop telling transgender people that they're wrong. Because they are not wrong. They have the right to change who they are based on how they feel. And I mean, feel is not even a word that it's I don't want to use obsession. It's just natural to them. They don't feel right in the body they're in. So why can't they change that? Like you were saying, fat people want to be skinny. Skinny people want to be muscular. And they have the right to do that. Everybody has a right to live happily in the body that they choose. And that is the main thing right there. The body that they choose. I don't feel right as a female. I'm going to become a male. I don't feel right as a female. I don't feel right as a male. I'm going to become a female. They have that right. Just like you have the right to bulk up. You have the right to get implants. You have the right to get a BBL. It's all body modification.
Yes, you have the right to get freaking breast implants, which all those things are gender affirming care.
Yes.
A freaking gynecology appointment, that's a gender affirming care because it's specifically for females.
Yep.
It's the same thing. They keep yelling about gender affirming care, gender affirming care. Yeah, if you don't want them to have gender affirming care, then I don't want to hear none of y'all going to the doctor for care that's specifically for males or females. Like breast exams, that's females. Like I said, pap smears, that's females. Men, they go get their balls checked. Their prostate checked. That's gender affirming care. This has all just become a buzzword that people are just using to turn people against other people who just want to live their life.
Yep.
That's it.